So this presentation is used for our normal training, which we just used last week in Nashville. We had training for almost 30 people, and here we're gonna talk about two topics. One is a really brief introduction about NovaStar, the company. Another is about our normal controllers and normal sending cards, and how do we come out with a solution with our products. So the first part is about NovaStar, about the company. And NovaStar was founded in 2008, and we have been increasing dramatically over the past 8-9 years. And right now we have 5 product lines already and over 800 employees. And according to our research during the customer visiting or during the show, we have the first market share in the LED display control system industry right now, and we're good known for a good service, high quality and advanced technology. And from my point of view, why we have the first market share is that we have very powerful R&D team. So this chart is indicate how many of our team is over 230 people, and that quantity is almost over a quarter of the total employees of NovaStar. And we have 5 PhD and 51 masters in that team, so which we think is the most powerful team in this industry. And as for global service, we have our headquarters is in Xi'an. You can see here the little star is in the center of China. And we have our biggest office in Shenzhen, where most LED manufacturer are located in Shenzhen, China. And for outside China, we have 27 branches all over the world and offices. So we can provide 24/7 service. And as for United States, we have an office in Las Vegas. But right now, to be honest, we are a lot of people right now. So when someone's here in the United States, and we have to, just like me, you have to travel around. So right now, there's no one in Las Vegas right now.
To do the training.
Yeah, to do the training and customer visiting, yeah. So next I'd like to show you some reference. This is very first big project we've made for Beijing Olympic Games. And if you have the chance to visit Beijing or have seen the opening ceremony in Beijing Olympic Games, maybe you have seen this building before. So there are 7 big displays altogether. It's over 3,400 square meters, and they're still working perfect right now. Okay. And this is another reference in Europe. So that's almost all about the NovaStar company. Okay, I think why we need to do this training, because we want give you a better service to let you know more details, familiar with NovaStar, and then you can provide better service to your customers. So that we can get a reputation in the market for both of us. So that's why this training is important. So for the training this morning is more about the pre-sale service, which is how to give a complete solution with our products. And also we will cover the operation of the softwares, the different functions and basic settings of the software. And the most important things is that I think the Carlos and Selena, they talk about you have to know how to create the RCFG file, which is receiving card configuration file. And tomorrow will be the valid service, which is our calibration system. That will be tomorrow. So for today, and this morning will be pre-sale service. The first thing, I think you all need to know what products we offer and what products you can choose according to different requirement from your customers. So let's see. For right now, as I mentioned, we have 5 product lines already, which is Nova Mars. It's our synchronous, really basic control system, and the second one is Nova All-in-One. It's our Pro HD VX4S. It is a combination of the sending card and a video processor together. So that's what we call All-in-One. And the third one is Nova Calibration. And the next two is the Nova Pluto, is more for a smaller size and advertising size, which is an asynchronous system. And the last one is Vinox, which is the cloud-based management, content management system.
So the all-in-one is like our VD wall, and the Pluto system's like we used for the original sign command controller.
Okay, like for the window unit, G30, G31.
Right, yeah, so that's their equivalent of.
And for the Mars, we have the standard products, and right now we have from end of last year we have a new range of the Mars, which we call it Phobos, and that's more focused on high-end rental and fixed installation with a higher image quality and more really powerful function like rotation, free rotation, any angle, and also the low latency. It's more for like the broadcasting. They have really high requirement of the latency. So it's another branch.
So you can record it and broadcast that out without any distortion of the image.
Yeah. With only 1 frame latency, 1 frame delay between your source and onto the screen. Yeah. And for the all-in-one, we have right now we only have 2, the Pro HD and VX. And actually, right now, NovaStar is more focused on the video processing market. So in the future, we'll have more powerful processor with the image processing, like scaling, picture-in-picture, switching, that ability with our controllers in the future. And how to make a complete solution here is based on our experience. This is two very important question you have to ask your customers. So just like when a customer comes to you and say, hey, I have LED wall, and they're looking for suggestion from you. And this is the 2 questions you're going to ask your customers. So one is how big is the screen? Here is not the dimension. It's we're asking for the pixel resolution. So just like if it's the customer tell you it's maybe 20 feet, 12 feet, and it is P10, so that we can just calculate how wide of the pixel amount in the horizontal and vertical, because we know the distance and the pixel range. And the second one is what kind of video source they're going to use, and that will help us to decide which controller we can provide. So let's get back into 2011, and in that period of time, how can we configure a full HD screen in 2011? So the original solution is just like this, and that's what I've been told, because I was in school at that time, and usually people like to use a Mac computer as a video source, and then the content goes to a video processor, and the video processor will generate and split the the signal to 2 DVI and feed to 2 of our sending cards, and each sending card control half of the Full HD screen. And at that time, because our software can only run in Windows, so you have to have an actual Windows PC to do the configuration. And that's a basic hardware structure in that time. And after 1 year in 2012,
So the Windows computer is just to do the configuration, and
Just
this
for
is
the-
set up, then the Windows computer doesn't have to remain. You can just run off your video
Yeah.
source.
So in this structure, what we provide is the sending card and also the receiving card in the panel. I'd like to mention this is our sending card, MCTL 300. I think this is what you are using.
That is what we're using. Yep.
Yeah.
We're testing with, yeah.
And there's the 2 most important things, parameters of this controller. First is the capacity. The capacity is 1.3 million pixels for this receiving card, and because we have 1 and 2 Ethernet outputs, so each port is 650,000 pixels for each port. So just remember it, and I will show you why we have that capacity. And from 2011, the screen is going to be bigger and bigger, and pixel pinch becomes smaller and smaller. So only with 1 or 2 controller is not enough. Maybe when some screen is over 1080p, over Full HD, we're going to have multiple controllers with a lot of cables, a lot of DVI cables, Ethernet cables. That will be really difficult to handle all the cabling. So maybe, especially in the live show, you're going to see a situation like this that will drive people crazy. So I don't think no one will let this happen. So that's why we have another controller with larger capacity, which is the M-Control 600. So we just integrate those two sending cards together and integrate into one PCB with a larger capacity. So right now, the hardware structure is just like this, with only 1 controller to handle a 1080p screen.
And it does it through 1 cable now.
No, 1 input, 4 outputs.
Okay, 4 outputs.
So for the M-Control 300, there are 2 outputs,
Okay.
and this has 4 outputs to control the Full HD. And this is 660. And when the 660 works on the market, we have some requirement from the rental market. So we have another controller almost at the same time. We call it M-Control 660. And what's the difference? And same thing here. A video source, video processor to the controller, and then the screen. If you ever notice that there's no more Windows PC here, because here, if you see, there's a small LCD and there's a knob, so we can do the basic configuration with that computer. So on the front panel of 660, like we can control the brightness, we can do the screen setting, screen mapping, and also we can save the receiving card configuration file to the hardware, to the controller, and then in advance. So and then we can just bring the controller on site and send our CFG file to the panels with our computer. So let's do the comparison between the 660 and 600. So if you see from the back panel of those 2 controllers, the 660 has 1 more connector for light sensor, which we think for the fixed installation, a light sensor might be a must. It's a must requirement for fixed installation. The user wanted to adjust the brightness according to the ambient brightness. And for the Control 660, just like I said that there's a small LCD and a knob to do the configuration from front panel.
But no light sensor.
Yeah, but no light sensor because it's more for rental. Light sensor is not necessary for rental staging. And also for the cascade, the 660, if you want to do multiple controllers, you have to cascade all the control signal. It is cascaded by normal Cat5 cable, so it's really easy to find for the rental on site. Really easy to find, and with one more DVI loop or HDMI loop to loop through the video signal for control multiple controllers. So from 2012 with 660, which we changed the industry to move the PC just with one controller. So that's our first start product in this industry. So the structure will be simplified like this. And then we just thought one of my customers, they asked us for technical support, and they use another brand of video processor, and there's something wrong, some issue with their screen. They came to us, and we checked everything on our system. It seems that everything's fine, so we just told our customers there must be something issue with the video processor, and then they came to the video processor company for technical support, and they also checked everything, and they say that it seems everything is fine. It must be something with the control system. So in that situation, we'll come to a football game. So everyone will kick the ball to others. So we thought in that time, why cannot we just have another product with those two functions together? So in 2014, we have our first all-in-one controller, the Nova Pro HD. So it's a sending card with a full HD capacity and a video scaler altogether. So with only one device, there's only one device between your video source and LED wall. So you can do the scaling, picture-in-picture, and multiple video inputs. You can switch from panel with all the video input switching. The most helpful function of the Pro HD or all of our all-in-one controller is auto scale, which means if you have a video source which is maybe smaller or larger than your LED wall, you can use auto fade to auto scale your input to fit to your output, to fit to your wall with only one button click to auto fade the content. So this is the most helpful function of the all-in-one. And also we have the mosaic function, which means if your screen is over 1080p, but you only have 1080p input, so with our in the normal solution, you have to use a video processor, and then your video processor create a content and fit to the two sending cards. But with the all-in-one, only one DVI or HDMI output from the computer, and then we use the loop, DVI loop, through to another controller, and this mosaic function will do the calculation and show a complete image to your whole wall. So with the all-in-one, there's no more actual video processor, no more actual sending cards, no more PC for basic configuration. All in the all-in-one controller, you can do that.
So if you're doing a screen that is to full HD,
Yeah.
the computer needs 2 DVI output,
No, you only one DVI output
1 DVI
to the
output.
first one, and the first one use the DVI loop
Okay,
to the second one.
so the video processor can handle the wider one
Yeah,
view.
they will
Okay.
just scale up the image and show on the whole 2 Full HD screen with one complete image. And another one year later, we have a VX4. So if you see from the interface, from the Outlook, the VX4 or VX4S is a simplified version of the Pro HD. Even it's new, but it's a simplified version. So what makes the Pro different from the VX? If you see from the back panel, all the connectors, the Ethernet connector, this is DMX and control, and this is Ethernet control with new trick. So it's more stable, reliable for the connectors. And also the Pro HD has G-Lock input and loop through, which is used for video signal to sync up the signal. And the Pro HD support DMX control, which is more for staging, lighting control. So you can just integrate it with your DMX control panel to control the brightness of the LED wall also. And the Pro HD has optical fiber outputs also to handle long distance transmission with the fiber. So that's all the way we just
So
simplify.
besides the fiber input and the DMX, functionally the VX4 is the same as the Nova Pro.
Yeah.
But so functionally they're identical. It's just a matter of the connections are more on that higher end professional stage technology as opposed to a more of a
almost the function are same, just with some like DMX,
right,
G-Lock, and
so you
fiber
got your
outputs.
more of your industrial connections that are really being used and have a lot of wear and tear, as opposed to what our customers are going to use would be more of the VX4 for that permanent installation inside of a school or church.
Yeah, because they just need to be able to switch to inputs.
Right. Now we're using VD wall, but this provides a good reason to fewer points of failure by going something like this. So I will mention that to Carlos and make a recommendation to at least look at.
I think
and
Carlos
price out
knows
the
the
VX4.
VX4S already.
Yeah, but for some reason we've gone to the I think maybe the scope of the projects too. So we're using the VD wall video processor. With the onboard with the onboard sending cards.
Yeah, maybe after you familiar with all the normal controllers sending cards, then you can just get another step into our all-in-one to do more project.
Yep.
Yeah. And another thing of Pro HD is that, which is not in the presentation, is that Pro HD has a web page control, which means we can log in in the browser, log into the web page, the IP of the Pro HD, and you will see a web page, just like you configure your Wi-Fi router.
Right.
Log into the Pro HD, and all the things you can do from panel of Pro HD, you can do on the web. So we can control the screen wireless in the local network.
So VX, you only have the front panel. You don't have any other type of software interface into it. Okay.
Well, the VX has the Ethernet too?
Ethernet, yeah.
Okay.
That's for
so the
control.
VX, you can do the web control.
No, VX doesn't have web control.
That's for cascading control.
The Ethernet is just like USB. So you can connect with your computer with USB or Ethernet.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Or if you have multiple VX4S or Pro HD, you can connect it to a switcher. And with one switcher, you can just your computer to connect to another same switcher. You can switch which controller you want to configure. You will see all the VX4S in the list.
But in the USB, you can change the input of one controller, or only for configuring?
Only for configure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
For the Pro HD, you can do video input switching and scaling picture-in-picture from our software.
So the Pro HD is more what they're currently doing.
Yeah, more options
Because that's
for.
what the VD wall does. You have that software you can do the 232.
Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm. Right now we only support the software, only support the Pro HD, but I'm sure in the future we'll support VX also. So that's the evolution of all the products, how we develop our products. We simplify the system a lot, and next is how to come up with a complete solution. So we know that what products we have, so we will have to know how to use them. So remember the first parameters I want you to remember, which is the capacity and the capacity for each port of the M Control 300. So how we calculate out, we have that number. Actually, there's one formula, because you know that we use the Ethernet port, Ethernet output from the control 300 or 600. The Ethernet, the Cat5 has 1 gigabit bandwidth for the cable. So this is 1 gigabit. This is how much data we can run through the cable. And there's another parameter called usage rate, which means usually we cannot use 100% of the 1 gigabit according to different quality of the cable, a different distance of the cable. So usually we just maybe 93% of the 1 gigabit we can use through the cable. So this is the left part of, and for the right part equals to the 1 gigabit equals to, this is capacity which we will calculate out. And because the number is 1 gigabit per second, so each second we have another parameter called frame rate, just like 60 hertz, 30 hertz, which means how many frames in 1 second. And also for the color, if you know that with DVI or HDMI, the video signal have the color bit depths. So just for example, if we run the content through DVI and at 60 hertz, the usage rate is what we search from the internet, and this is the average usage rate. And the frame rate is 60 hertz, and if it's DVI, so the color for DVI has 8 bit color depths. So for each color it will be 8 plus 8 plus 8, and this is per second. And just how we calculate out is the maybe we can do the calculation like this. So this is 1K, 1 megabit, 1 gigabit, and this is the total. This is the total number of the bandwidth, and because we have the usage rate, so in the actual world, this is how much data we can run through the cable, and then divide to 60 frame. So for each frame we can handle that much pixel, and divide 8 plus 8 plus 8, divide color depths. So that's the number we can, that's the capacity of each port, each cable, which means each port. So that's how we calculate out the 650,000 pixels on each port.
So I saw a feature that allowed you to do 120 hertz.
Yeah.
So if you do 120, it's half of 650?
Yeah, exactly. So that's another thing I like to mention. If you want to run, if you're with one cable, but just a little bit over the capacity, we can just change the frame rate to 50 hertz so that you will get higher capacity on this port. Or sometimes maybe your customer want to send content, feed content with HDMI with the 12-bit color depths. So if it's 12-bit, the number here are going to be 12 plus 12 plus 12. You will get smaller capacity on this port. So that's how we calculate the capacity for each port. So that's why we have 1.3 million pixels for the Control 300 with 2 ports. So what about our 4 ports controller, the 600, 660 per HD? Maybe you will think it's a 650,000 plus times 4, which is around 2.6 million pixels. But actually, the answer is no. The capacity we see is 2.3 million pixels. The reason is because of the DVI. If you see the list, this is almost the normal resolution we can of DVI cable, and max resolution is around 2.3 million pixels because the maximum input is 2.3. That's why we have maximum output, which is 2.3 million pixels. So that's why.
That's why I was asking about how many DVI cable to do to output, because I knew about the limitation. I have to use DisplayPort to use 4K monitor.
Yeah. The DisplayPort 1.2 can run 4K at 60 hertz. And so that's how we calculate the capacity of each port. Even though we say it's 2.3 for all 4 ports, but remember for each port it's still 650,000. But altogether in total it must be less than 2.3 million pixels. So this is a really important question we're gonna ask. I have a real case. We can just have a quick practice where you can start. Their screen resolution is 3008 wide and 432 high as our pixels, and with cabinet resolution here. So can you just tell me which controller is suitable for this screen?
It's 1.3 million pixels, so that would, you could use the Control 300.
Control 300?
Yeah.
So you all agree with that? But okay. So
it would work.
I have to see. Sorry, because there's a trap, because there's one more information called cabinet resolution. You didn't use this information.
Yeah.
That's why your answer is not correct. So maybe you just easily calculate the total pixel. It's less than 1.3 million pixels, and maybe you just thought we can use one Control 300, but actually if we do the calculation with the cabinet resolution, because cabinet resolution is 64 by 48, so if we just calculate, there will be 47 wide cabinets and 9 cabinets high. So it totally is 423 cabinets. You cannot divide to 2 ports average.
It's not even a number across
Yeah.
2 cabinets, right? So
Yeah.
one's going to be larger.
So yeah, one will be larger. Well, one port will be over the capacity. So that's why we cannot use 2, at least 3. So a 660 or 600 is required. Okay, the next one, another case. This is with normal. It's more normal resolution, and now here is another cabinet information. So the screen will be 7 by 5, 192 by 192 cabinets. So here, can you just let me know which controller is suitable?
You'd have to use the 660 or the 600.
600?
You need the 4 outputs.
So you mean the screen need 4?
You need 3 outputs at least
Okay.
for the same reason.
Okay.
Because if you divide the screen in half, you can't divide it in half because the cabinet size. So one of them would be 4 columns, one of them would be 3. The 4 columns would be 737,000 pixels. So that's more than you could do off of 1 cable. So that means you need 3 cables to do that size of the screen. So you have to do one of the controllers that has the 4 ports.
Okay. Yeah, that's one of the reasons. But if you ever, because if you thought we can just use 1 port control 3 rows, another port control 2 rows, so I'll be over the capacity. But we cannot divide to 2 average amount of the cabinets. But maybe like this, we can with port 1, we control 17 panels, another 18 panels with another port, even though it's a little bit over the capacity, over 650,000, but with maybe higher quality of the cable, we can reach that limit. So that might be another possible way to do the wire connection, the cable connection. Do you think that will be feasible? 1 port 17, another 18.
So the correct cable to use, would that be a Cat 6 shielded or?
Doesn't matter. It's Cat 5, Cat 6. The capacity is same.
Okay. So, but what do you mean by higher quality? What would be a higher quality cable that would be capable?
It's the quality. I mean, it's the quality of the product. With low quality, maybe you can only use maybe 90% with higher
Plus
quality.
you don't have as much loss on the cable, so you're going to have a cable without as much. Yeah, so it would be just a.
But a Cat 5 can still put that much power, that much signal through it if it's a good quality. It's not like a Cat 6 is going to do it, but a Cat 5 won't.
Yeah, really, the Cat 6 can do more than Cat 5, which is a little, no much difference, because the limitation is there. It's the same bandwidth. So the Cat 6 has higher quality for sure, but here the quality, I mean, is the quality of the product itself. The quality, yeah. So do you think this is a feasible way to control the screen like this?
Push 17 and 18.
Yeah.
Well, the 18 puts us at 663,
Mm-hmm.
so that's over.
Are they over the 650?
Yeah.
They said barely. He said you would be over by a little.
Yeah, a little. Mm-hmm. Okay. But you are correct for that. We cannot do like this. But the most reason is now just over a little, because we even at 660 or 665, in some case, we can also handle that pixel on one port. Just like I said, it was higher quality cables. And the most reason is that when we calculate the capacity, we calculate by the whole rectangle, which means for 17, the loading capacity for this port, for example, this on port 1, loading capacity for port 1 is same as the left picture. So we calculate capacity based on the whole rectangle, which can cover all the cabinets. So even though all the 4 cabinets is empty, it's blank, but the pixel here will also be included in the loading capacity of port 1. So always it's a whole rectangle. So here, the loading capacity of port 1 for those 2 pictures is same. So that's why we cannot do like this. So that's why we need at least 3 ports for this panel. And this is for the panels in each port. Also, for example, here those panels is on port 1, and we connect in the physical installation. The physical we have other panels which we connect to port 2. And for the controller itself, the loading capacity of the controller is also the whole rectangle. So even though here, those empty part, the capacity will be calculated for the controller.
Right, okay. So if you're doing offsets, different shapes, custom shapes and things like that, it's over the entire area that card's trying to cover. You're just masking off what's not being used.
Yeah.
But still in the calculations, it's still being processed.
Yeah.
Got it.
So this is really important when you do a project, when you do in advance. So I think it is okay when your project, each section is normal rectangle or square. But what if you have maybe a triangle screen, or with a more complex irregular shape? It will be really difficult to do, because you have to calculate the position or the size of each cabinet, the starting coordinates, the x, y. You have to enter that number in the software. So it's really complicated with some irregular shape screen. But next, I'm going to show you another brand new software which we can do in a very easy way, and you can just forget about what I just showed you to do the calculation about on the capacity. So here is the Smart LCT, and I'll also show you this software later, just for a quick for the quick preview. That you can see here is your panels, and with hardware with the mapping, the screen connection, and on the bottom here, the blue part is the loading capacity of port 1. You can actually see how much have been used and how much you have left you can use. So you don't have to care about the calculation. You just add cabinets and drop and drag the cabinet where you want to install, and the software will calculate whether it's exceeded the capacity or not. And that's all for to come up with a normal solution. What product we can use and how to configure how many ports or which controller we have to control that size of screen. But it's now all for our products. Actually, if you want customers have more requirement like monitoring function or brightness adjustment, we have that solution also. So this is all the accessories we have. This is our monitoring card, which we can monitor more information in your cabinets. And this is the fiber converter. We'll transfer the Ethernet to the fiber signal to achieve longer distance transmission. And this is our multifunction card, which power management and which we can connect light sensor. And this is our light sensor. So first, if the customer want to do more monitoring function, this is what you're going to use. This is a multifunction card. And the multifunction card is installed inside cabinets. They connect together with the receiving cards. So this is a multifunction card, and it can detect like smoke, humidity, and power voltage monitoring with 8 channel to manage monitoring power voltage, and they can detect rainbow cable status and even fine speed if you have fines, and also the sensor of the fines we can detect or counting the speed, and open or close is on or off for each single LED light, but that require some specific driver IC to support that function. And this is multifunction card, how we the connection. The 4 connector is for counting fine speed, and here is 8 channel power voltage, and here is for this is power, and this is for counting detect the open or close status for the cabinet doors. And this is how the hardware connection. So normal without the multifunction card, here's a receiving card, and use rainbow cable connect to the modules. And if you want to detect the rainbow cable detection, rainbow cable status, or a single LED light detection, we have to use another special hub card and connect to the last port of the module. So you can see here, the signal is a circle, so the software can detect in each circle which circle has the problem. And that's monitoring. And what if the customer want more option for brightness adjustment, like the automatic brightness adjustment, which we're gonna use the light sensor. And this is what we have in S060. And we have light sensor right now. We have to know where we can connect the light sensor to, and here is those 4 ports on the multifunction card. Those 4 ports is used for light sensor and temperature sensor. We also have temperature sensor, but the temperature sensor is just for detect temperature and show the result on the wall, on the LED wall itself. this is only function of the temperature sensor. And for the multifunction card, you can see here there are 8 relays, which means we can control 8 channels of power supply.
Okay.
Manually
just
or
dry contact, so you can use the trigger.
Yeah.
Okay. Through the CT Mars.
Yeah, software.
Through Pluto Mars.
You can just switch the on-off to control the power manually, or you can set a schedule for each channel. And here is one audio output. So if you see that in the 660 or Pro all-in-one, we have another 3.5 millimeter audio input, and this is audio input. And on the multifunction card here, there's the only place we have audio output. If you want audio output, there's only here we have audio output. Or we know that the HDMI has audio signal. So if you want to have the audio output from HDMI, you have to use the multifunction card to have audio ability. So if we connect that sensor, this will be the hardware structure. And the picture here is not.
So this would mount inside?
No.
Okay, inside the cabinet.
Yeah, could be.
Okay.
And here, the picture here is not correct. This should be multifunction card. The blue one we just showed is not correct. And the multifunction card here could be cascade between the sending card and the first receiving card, or between any two of the receiving cards. Or you can connect multifunction card to the last one of the receiving card.
Okay.
So as long as it in the daisy chain of the receiving cards, whatever it is, the software can detect the multifunction card and detect the sensors. And the last requirement we heard very frequently from our customer is a long distance transmission. So for that, we also have solution with our fiber transceiver. We have 2 models, which is CVT 310 and 320. The 320 is single mode. The distance can up to 15 kilometers, and the 310 is multi-mode fiber. The distance can be 300 meters away. And because this transceiver can be used as a sender or a receiver, so usually they has to be used as a pair. So here, the Ethernet output from the controller to one converter convert Ethernet to fiber, and here is a receiver convert the Ethernet fiber back to Ethernet, and then cascade all the receiving cards. If you use all the 4 ports of the 600, and if you want to use the fiber converter, so at least you need 8 units of the converter to do that long distance transmission.
Can you put the fiber converter in between 2 signs that use the same cable? So you have send card, and you have one sign, and the other sign is a little distance away. Can you put the fiber between the 2?
One run Ethernet each way?
Yeah, say the screen's small enough that you can run both from one card, but
From one port?
through one port. But both signs is distance apart, like 300 meters. Can you put the fiber between 2 signs?
Yeah, we can do that. Just like extend the distance of the Ethernet cable. So at least what we can do with a normal Ethernet cable, we can do with that fiber solution.
Okay.
And say I have a failure on the top one, I can just replace just the top one. I don't have to replace the pair.
Yeah.
Is it okay?
Yeah.
Now, with the light sensor, you have 4 light sensor input.
Mm-hmm.
Can you set up a zone so this light sensor work for this part of the sign and this light sensor work for
Yeah.
this part? Okay.
Ah,
So
brilliant.
we'll have to know how we can
Okay. Yeah.
do that.
Is that the new light sensor that we're testing? Is the Nova one? It's a different
No,
one.
I don't. That's from Kazo, so I
Okay.
don't know about that yet.
Okay. Definitely seems like a worthy option for our EXP
Yeah, I'll push
to
it
bring
back.
back. Okay.
That's definitely something we want.
Yes. Or for those more
Yeah.
light sensitive areas where they want a Techstar, have that as an option.
Talking about the dim certain parts of the sign?
Yep.
No, we'll have
There's
you've
different
got 2
different
faces.
controls for side A, side B.
Put a light sensor on each face, and each light sensor goes to different multifunction cards. You could have this sign bright when the sun's shining into it, but this one's dim because it's facing away.
Yeah. Instead of the one light sensor controlling both sides.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And this is another option for fiber when you use multiple controllers. If you use multiple controllers, maybe you have a lot of converters with a lot of cables. So here we have a rack for the fiber converter. So you can just we have different models with 4, 8, 12 or 16 channel of the fiber, only with one power supply.
Right.
So this is another option.
Definitely simplifies your cable
Yeah.
management.
So that's what we can do to come up with a solution. What product we have, what product is suitable for customers' wall, and then the reliability is another thing we are considering about. So for the reliability, we have the redundancy hot backup, which means for normal, all the signal will come will go in one direction, and what if just one cable is broken? The rest of the receiving card have no signal, and will be black on the wall. So we can use another sending card as a backup to feed the signal from the opposite direction, so that all the receiving card will still have signal.
And all of our indoor products are going to have this redundancy built into it.
And the switch between the primary and the backup is so fast that no one will notice. And this is for 2 controllers, and we can also do the hot backup in one controller. Just for example, we use first 2 ports to control the screen, and use the rest of the 2 ports as a backup.
Is there anything to like detect when it does switch over?
I'm sorry?
So if there is a failure, you don't see it, but how
You
do you
don't
know?
see it,
But
yeah.
how do you know there's a failure so you can make a corrective action before there's a second failure?
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. There's 2 ways we can check whether it's under redundancy mode. The first is the receiving card indicator. So you know that we have 2 indicators on the receiving card. The green one is for power. The red one is for power, and the green one with different status, how fast or it flashing, it indicated different meanings. So this is what we will show you later. Another is on our software. On the LCD Mars, we have option called monitoring. In the monitoring part, icon in that interface, and we can check which port of the sending cards is under redundancy mode. So if you say the port 3 is on redundancy mode, which means maybe the primary port has an issue, or some receiving card.
If you're using a VX4, is there an indication on the front panel?
Yeah.
Okay.
If the VX4, you can see there's 4 square 4 icons that indicate 1,
Each
2, 3, 4,
Right.
and once there's something wrong and it's working on backup mode, the icon will flash.
Gotcha.
Same
So,
thing.
so there's a visual indication if there's
Yeah.
something wrong with the H1. Nice. Another advantage over the VD wall.
And another thing is the receiving card replacement, which means on the wall, for example, there's something wrong with one receiving card and we replace with a new receiving card. We don't have to resend the screen connection info
Right.
because we saved all the receiving screen connection info in the sending cards. So as long as the receiving card has correct RCFG file, you just replace the receiving card and you don't have to do any more configuration.
Yeah, but you have to push it. This will actually automatically do it. If we preload the RCFG so that it knows how to drive the board, then you can just swap it out. So like what Greg does, he can just plug it in and load it and send it to the customer. It doesn't matter where they plug it in, it'll work.
And before, I never thought about this. This could be an advantage of our system, because after one of customers who just used the Linsen system before, and he told me that Linsen saved the screen connection info in each receiving card. So after receiving card replacement, it has to be resend the
Right.
screen connection info. That's the difference with our system. And for more, it's our calibration, which we're gonna go through tomorrow. And this is a really old screen, maybe after 3 years of use, and you can see there's obvious color and brightness difference among the modules. And after the calibration, we will get really smooth brightness and color. And I have to mention that this is not Photoshop. This is actual picture we took on site before and after calibration. So that's what our calibration
That's
can
exactly
do.
what it looks like too.
And this is another
Hopefully calibration is a lot easier.
this is another reference. Well, what we did beginning of this year, and on the wall there's 3 different control systems. And just guess which one is Nova.
The right one.
The right one?
This one, yeah.
It's got more color depth.
Yeah, this is the red one. You're correct. The red one is Nova. You can see more detail in the flame, and especially in the dark area, you can see more details. So this
Just
is
out of
our.
curiosity, what are the other two?
I cannot say, but one is a really famous and frequent use of China company. Another is the control system from Europe.
Okay.
And this is our new receiving card called A8, AAIs inside with our new technology.
So is that in the
No, it's another receiving card.
So
And
it's
I
one we
can,
don't have yet, one we're not testing.
maybe I have one with me. Yeah. So this is the AA receiving card.
So that will plug in a module on the back of each LED board?
Yeah,
Okay.
this is a new.
Huh.
And we have 2 different versions. So this is A8, this is A8S. Same function with different connector. So this is a DDR3, and that was a high density connector. These are new receiving cards.
That's your receipt. Oh, you're saying what goes.
So that receives. How does it receive?
There'll be a connector on the LED board.
Yeah, actually,
Okay.
actually, the manufacturer has to design a new hub card,
Okay.
and you just insert the receiving card, and there will be Ethernet
So
port
it's
on the hub
Ethernet.
card. Yeah.
Got it. Right. Yep. That's what I was talking about. Ethernet hubs. Yep. Instead of using ribbon cable hubs, using Ethernet hubs.
Yeah. Have those passed the FCC testing yet? Or
Yeah.
is it- okay.
Yeah.
but somebody else has to design the hub.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then the hub has to go
So-
through testing.
That's all for the normal solution. So do you think we should take break or we can continue?
You take 5.
Okay.
Or
Is
take
that-
lunch.
Huh?
It's almost lunchtime.
Almost lunch.
I have another presentation about the firmwares with the new receiving card, new controller,
Okay.
which is gonna take maybe 20-25 minutes.
Let's do that, because then we'll finish and we'll do lunch.
Okay.
Let's see.
Water in the back? You want water?
Nice. Please.
Oh,
Kinda dying of thirst.
Jeremiah?
yes, please.
Here you go, Jeremiah.
ZF setting space.